Hello guys, welcome to Buddy Academy. This is Nandini going to teach you NCERT Physics. In this class, we are going to discuss the second chapter in your NCERT Physics, electrostatic potential and capacitance. Already in the previous class, we have discussed about the electrostatic potential in detail, right? So in this class, we are going to concentrate about the capacitance. So the following topics that we are going to cover in this class are dielectric and polarization, capacitor and capacitance, parallel plate capacitor, and some relevant topic regarding to the capacitor. Okay student, and also we are going to see some previous year questions based on the electrostatic potential and capacitance. Without any delay, let's start the session. Let's see the topic wise analysis of past 10-year CBSE board examination. First, in the dielectrics, you will be asked very short answer and long answer. Likewise, in capacitor and capacitance, you will be asked very short answer. In past years, they are asking very short answer in this topic. And then in parallel plate capacitor, short answer and long answer and very long answer is asked. So VSC stands for 1 mark and SE, which is a short answer, stand for 2 marks and long answer for 3 marks and very long answer for 5 marks. Okay, so the very high amount of short answer is asked in the effect of dielectric on capacitor, and medium amount of long and very long answer will be asked in the effect of dielectric on capacitors. Okay, and the combination of capacitor will be asked a very less amount of short answer, long answer and very long answer. And energy stored in the capacitor is a very important topic where we will get the long answer. Okay student, let's see what is a dielectrics and polarization. Before get into the dielectrics, let's see the most familiar word, insulator. So you have been familiar about conductors and insulator, right? So let's deal about the insulator. So what is the difference between the conductor and insulator? Is conductors having a free electrons, but in the insulator there are no free electrons, right? Yes. So there the insulator, which is having a property called polarization. Let's see what is a polarization in detail. So let's understand when the insulator having a property called polarization. So we will specifically say that it is a dielectric material. Okay, so the insulator is also a dielectric material. So let's see the dielectric material. So in the dielectric there is a non-conducting substance. Okay. So in the conductors there are large amount of charge carriers, that is a free electrons. But in the dielectric there are no charge carriers, but there will be a charge. So let's see the detailed explanation over this. In the polarization in the insulator there are two types of division. One is a polar and non-polar molecule. Okay, so let's see what is a polar molecule and what is a non-polar molecule. So before getting the polar and non-polar, let us consider this field. So here the electric field is towards the plate and here the electric field is out of the plate, right? Yes. After applying the electric field, these particles, these molecules tend to align with the electric field, like that is two dissimilar charges will attract each other, right? So this molecule will turn and exchange of charges, like that positive charge will move on to this side and negative charge move on to this side. So these electrons, these molecules will arrange like this, so that here the positive and negative will come into nearby, and there the negative and positive is coming into nearby. So let's see what is a polar and non-polar molecule in detail. So first we are going to see the non-polar molecule. So what is a non-polar molecule? If the positive and negative charges coincide, so that molecule is known as a non-polar molecule. In the non-polar molecule there is no permanent dielectric moment. Okay, because so what do you know about the dipole moment that we have seen in the chapter 1, right? So what is a dipole moment? It is represented as a P. And what is the formula for dipole moment? 2AQ, where 2A is the distance between the charges and Q is the magnitude of charge, right? So here the 2A represents the distance, but here the distance is 0. So that the dipole moment is 0. But after applying the electric field, this molecule will extend like this, so that it come some distance, that is a very small distance, but it has some distance after applying the electric field. So it develops the dipole moment after applying the electric field. So this is known as the non-polar molecule, like oxygen, hydrogen and all. These are the examples of non-polar molecule. So what is a polar molecule? Let's see what is a polar molecule. It is exactly opposite of the non-polar molecule. Here the centers of positive and negative charge does not coincide, it is separated from each other, so that it will having a some distance, say d, so that the distance is never, it is having some value that is not equal to 0, so there is a presence of a dipole moment. Though it is having a dipole moment, but the net dipole moment overall the polar molecule is 0. That is, net dipole moment overall is 0. Why? Because the molecule, for example, if the molecules are randomly going, right? So if the molecule is going this side, the opposite molecule tends to be move on this side. So these will get cancel each other, so that that in total the net dielectric moment was 0. Let's see the example of the polar molecules. An ionic molecule such as HCl and water molecule is a polar molecule. So that it is though it is having a permanent dipole moment, the net dipole moment is equal to 0. Why it is having a dipole moment? Because these two charges are separate at a distance called, very small distance, not much distance, very small distance, but it is having some distance. But here there is a no distance, the positive and negative charges are lying on a same area. Let's see this example. So this is an example of the non-polar molecules. Here look at this picture, the positive and negative are located at the same place, so that it is having a no distance between them, so that the dipole moment is equal to 0. But after applying the electric field, these molecules are extended, so it becomes a distance d. So there is the presence of the electric dipole moment. But here in the polar molecules, already it is having a distance d, so it is having a dipole moment, permanent dipole moment in the polar molecules. So it is having a permanent dipole moment, but the net dipole moment was 0. Okay, so here the electric field, after applying the electric field, so here it is towards the plate, right? So already we have learned that positive molecules, the electric field is towards the positive, but in the negative it is outwards, that is field radiated outwards. So that I am consider this as a negative and this is a positive, so that the molecule will align towards the electric field, so it develops the dipole moment. So this is the dipole moment per unit volume. This symbol is known as a susceptibility of the dielectric medium. This is used to calculate the dielectric moment per unit volume of the dielectric. So let's see what is a capacitor and capacitance. So what is a capacitor? So capacitor is a device which stores charge. That's why we have already learned in the lower grades, right? So these are the real-time capacitor that we are using in the electronic appliances. Okay, so these are the it is having a many shapes. It is a very smaller and it is a very larger. It depends upon the application they have used. Okay, so this is known as a capacitors. So let's see what is a capacitor and what is a formula used for calculating the capacitor and capacitance and all. We will see in further. So first we are going to see what is a capacitor. So when I am having a two conductors, say A and B, which is kept at a distance, say D, inside this I am filling an insulator. Okay. So this will having a dielectric medium. Okay, so this is known as a permeability of a dielectric medium. In what is permeability, that and all we have already seen the first chapter, right? So this is the permeability of a free space. Okay, So yes, so the two conductor which is separated at a distance d, so this is said to be a capacitor. Okay, let's see this. So this is the having a capacitor which is having a two conductors, say conductor 1 and conductor 2, which is having a two potentials, say V1 and V2, and having a charge Qn and Q2. So generally in practically we are using as a Q1 is equal to plus Q and Q2 is equal to minus Q. Okay. Yes. So these two ends of the capacitor are connected to a battery, so that the capacitor is getting charged. So let's see what is the capacitance of a capacitor. So the capacitance of a capacitor is equal to charge per unit voltage. Okay, so this is known as a capacitance. So that if you divide the charge divided by voltage, so it gives the capacitance of a capacitor. Okay. Yes, so that the potential difference is the work done by moving a per unit positive charge in taking a small test charge from the conductor 2 to 1. It is against the electric field, right? So yes, that work done is said to be a potential difference V. So what is the nature of an insulator? Yes, it is a dielectric. So what is a dielectric and all we have already seen in the previous topic, right? Yes. So what is the SI unit of capacitance? It is a 1 farad. So the farad is a common unit which is used for a capacitor. Also coulomb per volt is also used for the unit of the capacitance. Okay, because for the charge the unit was coulomb, and for voltage it is used as a unit was volt. So that we will use the coulomb per volt also. Okay, let's see what is a dielectric strength. The maximum electric field that the dielectric medium can withstand. So that the maximum electric field which the dielectric medium can withstand without breakdown. So this property is known as a dielectric strength. How much it is withstanding, how much of electric field is withstanding. So this is known as a electric strength. So this picture represents the moving of charges from one plate to another. So this is the symbol for the fixed value capacitor and this is for the variable capacitor. Okay. So for the variable we have included the arrow here. So this is the picture which represents the capacitor in 3D form. So these are the two conductive plates. Inside the conductive plates they have placed the dielectric which is at the distance d, and the area of the capacitor is A, and distance between the capacitor is d. Let's see the another formula for capacitance also. Students also remember that C is not depend on the Q and V. Okay, it does not depend on the Q and V. Though it is having a formula Q is equal to C is equal to Q by V, it does not depend on Q and V. It is only depend on the size, shape and the distance between the plates. Okay. Yes. Next we are going to see the parallel plate capacitor. So what is a parallel plate capacitor? Parallel plate capacitor is similar to the capacitor which is having a two parallelly placed plates which is having a large plane and which is separated by a small distance medium. Okay, say vacuum. So here the vacuum is placed. So the dielectric medium is vacuum. So we have generally used the permeability of a vacuum as a epsilon naught, right? So that we are using epsilon naught as a permeability of a vacuum. So A is a area of each plate and D is a separation between them, and the two plates which is having a charges Q. So generally I have already said, right? So this I am taking as a Q and here minus Q as a second charge. So what is the outer region? Electric field. So what is the electric field in the outer region of above the plate 1? So outer region means above the plate 1 and below the plate 2, right? So yes, what is electric field here is absolutely 0. So how it becomes to sigma by, so already you have know that in a infinity long, not a parallel, I will write here. In a first chapter in the Gauss law, we have seen a second application which is the infinitely infinitely long parallel sheet. So in that we have seen this formula. Okay, so if you forget means just recall it. So in that we have seen E is equal to sigma by 2 epsilon naught. In that we have already seen this formula. So that when we subtract 2 we will get 0. Same for the procedure outer region of the below the plate. Okay, so let's see inside the plate, which is very important. So here the region is add up. So that sigma by 2 epsilon naught plus sigma by 2 epsilon naught is equal to, so here the electric field is add, which gives sigma by epsilon naught. So that it gives a new formula, E is equal to Q by epsilon A. So sigma is equal to Q by A. Next, sigma is nothing but it is a surface charge density. Okay, so the field lines will bend at the edges. When the field lines are bent at the edges is known as a fringing of a field. Okay, so let's see how the capacitance value is derived. So generally we have already know that V is equal to electric field into distance. So what is the electric field that we have calculated here? Q by epsilon naught A and D. So this is the potential value. So after applying this, just apply the value of the potential in this formula. So that we will get Q by, so what is a V? Q by epsilon naught A into D. Q get cancelled. So that epsilon naught A by D, which is a very familiar formula for the capacitance. Okay, just note it. So this is the second formula. So first formula was C is equal to Q by V. The second formula was C is equal to epsilon naught A by D. So this is the second formula for the capacitance. So what is the effect of dielectric on the capacitance? Let's have the two parallel plates which is having an area A and separated by the distance D, which is having a charge plus Q and minus Q, and having a charge density plus sigma and minus sigma. Okay, so these are the data that you have to consider. So when there is a vacuum, so inside the dielectric, so in the dielectric place we are keeping a vacuum. So that the electric field is equal to sigma by epsilon naught here. Next, we are getting the potential difference, which is equal to V is equal to ED. From this formula we are getting this, and the capacitance C naught is in this case C is equal to Q by V, right? So that V is equal to ED. I am just substituting here. So here already we have know that C is equal to Q by V, right? So what is the capacitance? Another formula, epsilon naught A by D. So further we are going to resolve this. So already we have calculated the capacitance for the vacuum. Okay. So what is the final expression we have got? C naught is equal to epsilon naught A by D. So what is the V naught here? V naught is equal to E naught into D. Okay students, let's find the electric field in the dielectric which correspond in this case. So here the net surface charge density, which is equal to plus or minus sigma p. We are considering that in the dielectric. So till now we are considering that dielectric as a vacuum, right? But here the dielectric that correspond to the case where the net surface density on the plates is sigma minus sigma p. Okay. So in this case we are considering as plus or minus sigma p. So let's see what is a dielectric. So already we have find for the vacuum we have find the electric field and the potential and the capacitance. Again we are going to find electric field, voltage, that is a potential difference, and the capacitance finally. Let's see one by one. First we are going to see the electric field. So don't confuse that it is having a long derivation. Okay, first we are considering a vacuum and we are finding E and then V and C. Again for the dielectric we are considering again electric field, potential difference and capacitance. Okay, so this is the very simplest equation. Okay, so let's see. So first we have find the electric field. So what is the potential difference across the plates? So it is electric field into distance. So we are using same formula for all the things. Okay, first we have to find the electric field and they have to substitute the electric field in the terms of the potential difference. Okay, so in the place of the electric field we have substituted sigma minus sigma p epsilon naught into d. So here I am substituting sigma minus sigma p as a common term, which is sigma, and here the constant is introduced, which is k. So when we are considering k is larger than 1, then we have sigma minus sigma p is equal to sigma by k. Okay, so this is the one we are considering. So next we are going to substitute the value of sigma minus sigma p. So v is equal to sigma by k. Again d by epsilon naught has come again. Again we are considering the value of sigma as a q by a. So that we are substituting the sigma value in this expression. So that we are getting qd by a epsilon naught k. So what is the v here? V is equal to qd. I will write it here. V is equal to qd divided by a epsilon naught k. So this is the value of the v, right? Yes. So when we write the q by v in a one side, I am taking a q by v on one side, on all the data is on the other side of the equal symbol. So what we get? Epsilon naught k a by d. So this is equal to the capacitance. Yes. So this is the value of the capacitance, and sigma is equal to sigma naught k. So this is known as a permittivity of a medium, which is denoted as a sigma. Okay, and also we have to remember, right, k is equal to sigma by sigma naught, and also k is equal to c by c naught. Okay. So by this we are concluding this derivation. So let's see the next topic, combination of capacitors. So generally in the resistor also we have seen that there are two combination, one is a series and another is a parallel. So there is another combination also which is a combination of a series and parallel. So but here we are going to see the series and parallel combination individually. So let's see what is a series combination of a capacitor and what is the formula for that, and what is a parallel combination of a capacitor and what is the formula for that. Okay, so first we are going to see the capacitor in series. Let's have the two capacitor which is combined in a series. So series means nothing when the negative is connected to the positive of the another capacitor and the negative is connected to the furthermore the capacitor. So this is known as a series capacitance connection. Okay, so that it is connected like this. So this is known as a seriously connected capacitor. So how will you charge these capacitors? Yes, by means of battery. So this is the combination of capacitors which gets charged in the series. So let's see what is the procedure for calculating the capacitor in series. So let's see the common expression which is C is equal to Q by V. When you want V, you have to take Q by C. When you want Q, you will take CV. So this is come from this equation. So all the equations form basis by Q by V. Okay, so never forget this equation. So let's see the potential drop across each of the capacitor. So always remember students, this will have a different potential difference. Okay, so in the series combination the potential difference is vary for each and every capacitor, and also remember here the charge is similar. I will write it here. The charge is same for the series and the Potential is difference. Okay. So let's see Q by C1. I am substituting this formula so that I will get C1, C2, C3 and C4. Okay. So if there are n number of capacitor, you can also find it by this formula. So that I am taking a Q as a common term here, so that it becomes Q into 1 by C1 plus 1 by C2. I am taking the Q in the opposite side of equal to symbol, so that it becomes V by Q. So what is a V by Q here? It is a 1 by C, because see here, so when I take Q in the next side, so what will become 1 by C, right? So that I am substituting as a 1 by C is equal to 1 by C1 plus 1 by C2 plus 1 by C3 up to n number of capacitors. So this is the formula to calculate the capacitance in series. Okay. So if you are given n number of capacitor, if you want to find the total capacitance, that is the total effective capacitance, you have to substitute this formula, the value of the C1, C2, C3 and so on up to the n number of capacitance. Okay. So let's see the capacitors in parallel. So what is a parallel? Yes, I will tell you. So when I connect so I am having a 3 capacitor, say, which is having a size plus minus and all. Okay. If I want to connect these capacitors in parallel, means I want to connect this two positives and I have to connect these positive, that is the second capacitor, say C1, C2, C3. I have to connect this positive of the second capacitor to the positive of the third capacitor, and again similarly I have to connect the negatives of all capacitors. So this is known as a parallel connection. So if I want to charge these batteries, I have to give the potential across these capacitors so that it will get charged. So let's see what is the formula for the parallel plate capacitors, parallelly connected capacitors. So first similarly I am going to take the same formula, which was Q is equal to CV. So what is so here, but here in the parallel the Q is different, but the potential across all the capacitor are same. Okay. So let's see Q1, but here the Q1, Q2, Q3, but the voltage is common. So you have to remember this. So Q1 is equal to C1 V. V is the same for all the capacitors, so that I am just having V. So similarly Q2 is equal to C2 V and Q3 is equal to C3 V. So what is the equivalent capacitor with what is the equivalent capacitor? So that it is having a total charge of Q1 plus Q2. So that I am to add all the individual values of Q1, Q2, Q3. So what we will get? C1 V, C2 V plus C3 V. So by taking the V as a common term, we will get C1, C2, C3. So what is the value of a Q? It is CV. I am cancelling the V term on the LHS and RHS, so that I will get the final expression, which is C is equal to C1 plus C2 plus C3. So which is the effective capacitance in this circuit. Let's see the next topic. Energy stored in the capacitor. So until this we have seen what is the effect on the dielectric on the capacitor and parallel plate capacitor, what is the combination of capacitors. But here we are going to see how much of energy is stored in the capacitor. Let's see. So these are the two parallel plate capacitors, say 1 and 2, which is having a charge generally Q minus Q. Okay, so that the electric field is flowing from the conductor 1 to 2. So how the charges are moving? So imagine that it is having a small charge, say del Q dash, which is transferred from the conductor 2 to 1. Okay, so how much of work done is moving from the charge, the small amount of charge from conductor Q, from the conductor 2 to 1. So let's see. So the work done in this step is del W dash, which is having a formula V dash del Q dash. So what is a V here? So already we have know that this formula, which is Q is equal to CV. Okay, so by this I am considering only a V, so that Q by C. So Q dash by C del Q dash. By substituting this, we will get this expression. So let's see what is the work done, total work done by moving all the charges. So that I am considering from the charge 0 to Q, that is total charge. So what is the value of a V here? Q dash by C del Q dash. So by integrating this, we will get the total work done takes place in the capacitor by moving the charges. Okay, so that 1 by C is taken as a constant term. Again Q dash delta Q dash, which is integrated 0 to Q, so that what will get Q dash square by 2, right? So yes, so instead of Q I am substituting the value of Q and 0, so that we will get the final expression as Q square by 2C. So this is the work done. So how amount of energy stored in the capacitor? So that we have already find that Q square by 2C, 1 by 2. So instead of Q, what is a Q? CV. So Q square means C square V square. I am just squaring the value of Q. So that one capacitance is cancelled. So that 2CV square. So this is the work done in terms of capacitance and potential difference. If you want in terms of charge and voltage, you have to substitute the value of the capacitance. Okay, similarly you have to, if you want the terms of the V and Q, you have to substitute the values of the capacitance, like and all you have to substitute. Yes, so if you want in terms of D, that is in terms of sigma and sigma naught, so how will you do that? So let's see. So instead of Q, I am substituting this Q by C. So first I am substituting the value of the C, which is a sigma naught A by D. So instead of C, I am substituting the sigma A by D and 1 by 2. So Q, for Q is equal to, so already you know that sigma is equal to Q by A. So how about Q? Q is equal to sigma A. So already the Q is squared, so that sigma A squared. I am substituting this term, so that I will get the work done expression in terms of dA sigma naught and all. Okay, so that it is equal to the work done. Next, electric field. So E is equal to sigma by epsilon naught. So this is the electric field value. So already we have know this value, so no need to remember and all. Okay, so already familiar about this value, right? Sigma is equal to sigma, which is a surface charge density, divided by sigma naught, which is a permeability of a free space. So this is the value of the electric field. So next, what is the energy density? So energy density is nothing but the energy stored per unit volume of space. So when I consider per unit volume of space, how much of energy stored in it? So that is known as the energy density. So it is given by U is equal to of sigma E square. Okay, so this is came from this term. By this expression, we have got the energy density formula for the electric field. Okay, student, let's solve some previous year questions. First question is, a test charge Q is moved without acceleration, so that the charge which is present on the point A is moving from A to B and then B to C. Okay, so this is a path which the charge has taken to move from the point A to C as shown in the figure. So that the electric field is passing through the charge from the left to the right. So calculate the potential difference between A and C, at which point of the two is the electric potential more and why. You have to answer the two questions asked. So let's see the solution. This is a previously asked question. in your CBSE board examination of 2012. Okay student, let's solve the first question. Calculate the potential difference between A and C. Before getting solving this question, you have to remember that potential difference does not depend any path along which the test charge Q moves. Okay, so just remember this. Yes. To calculate the potential difference, you are already familiar with this, right? Which is dV by dr. So dr is nothing but a distance it moved. So here the electric field, why I have indicated a minus here? Yes, already we have know that potential decreases in the direction of the increasing electric field, right? Yes. So the difference of the potential is, what is the final potential difference? It is Vc. Okay, so it is a final position. So that the potential difference at the point C is Vc minus Va, which is the initial point, divided by r, dr. So dr is distance moved by the charge. I am just substituting the minus inside, Va minus Vc divided by dr. So that Va minus Vc, which is 6 minus 2, 4. So it is a distance. Okay, so it is a distance moved by the charge, which is 6 minus 2, which is 4. And Va minus Vc, which is a potential difference that you have to calculate, right? So it is a question asked. So it is equal to Va minus Vc is equal to 4 times of electric field. So this is the answer for the question 1. So the next was, at which point of the two is the electric potential more and why? So by easily you have said that at the point C the potential is high, because I have already said that reason. The electric field, as the electric field increasing in this region means the potential is decreasing in this region, that is potential difference decreases in the direction of the increased electric field. So this is the reason why the electric potential is more at a point C than the point A. So the answer is, for 2, the answer was at point C. Okay, so because the potential difference decreases in the direction of the electric field. So the next question was, a network of 4 capacitor, each of capacitance 30 microfarad, is connected across a battery of 60 volt as shown in the figure. Find the net capacitance and energy stored in each capacitor. So the network is shown, which is having a 4 capacitors. Okay, so C1, C2, C3 and C4, and which is connected with the battery 60 volt. So let us solve this question. So you have to find the net capacitance and energy stored in each and individual capacitor. First, we have to find the net capacitance. To find the net capacitance, you have to analyze each and every capacitor connection. So here the C1, C2 and C3 are seriously connected, right? So what is the seriously connected formula? Which is C1, 2, 3. 1 by C1 plus 1 by C2 plus 1 by C3. So which is equal to 1 by C1. So all the capacitance value is same only. So that 1 by 30 plus 1 by 30, which gives 3 by 30 is equal to 1 by 10 mu F. So this is the value of the C1, 2, 3, which is for 1, 2, 3, the net capacitance was 1 by 10 microfarad is a reciprocal. So if you want to calculate the series capacitance for C1, C2, C3? So the value was 10 microfarad. Then the capacitor of 1 to 3 is parallelly connected with C4, right? So again you have to solve. So we have already know that this is the first question, which is we are going to calculate the net capacitance. So here the capacitors C1, C2, C3 are parallelly connected with the capacitor C4. So that what is a parallel formula? It is simple, you have to add. So that you will get the net capacitance 10 microfarad plus 30 microfarad, which is the value of the C4, together which you will have the 40 microfarad, which is the net capacitance. So this is the value for the net capacitance. So next we have to calculate the energy stored in each capacitor. Now we are going to find the energy stored in the capacitor. So already we have find the net capacitance, right? So now we are going to see the energy stored in capacitor. So what is the formula? Yes, it is E is equal to of CV square. So this is the formula for the energy stored in capacitor that we have already studied in the derivation, right? So let's substitute it. So what is the first I am going to find the for the C1, C2, C3. Okay. So that I am going to calculate the net capacitance for the C1, C2, C3 into V square. So what is the value of the net capacitance of C1, C2, C3? So it is 10. So that 1 by 2 into 10 microfarad instead of micro, I am writing 10 to the power of minus 6. So what is the value of the voltage here? 60 volt. So that I am multiplying the 60 into 60, which is 3600. So let's solve this. By solving this, we will get 18 into 10 to the power of minus 3 joule. So this is the value of energy stored in the capacitor C1, C2, C3. Okay. So for in individual capacitor, how much of energy is stored in individual C1, C2, C3? For individual, the energy is stored in capacitor C1 is 6 into 10 to the power of minus 3 joule. Similarly, C2 is equal to 6 into 10 to the power of minus 3 joule, and for C3 also 6 into 10 to the power of minus 3 joule. Okay, so let's calculate the energy stored in the capacitor for the C3. For C4, okay, so which is also find by the same formula, which in this we are going to calculate for the C4, so that you have to substitute the value for the C4, which is 1 by 2 into, for C4 we have already know that it is a 30 microfarad, and again for V square I am just writing 3600. By solving this, we will get the answer, which is 5.4 into 10 to the power of minus 2 joule. Okay, so this is the energy stored in the capacitor C4. Okay, so okay student, let's solve the next question. In the given graph, so this is a graph they are given, which is showing the variation of charge Q versus potential difference V for the two capacitors C1 and C2. Both the capacitors have same plate separation, but plate area of C2 is greater than C1. So the plate area is C2 is having a greater than C1, but it is having a same plate separation, which is having a same D. And for which line A or B corresponds to C1 and C2Y. So let us find it out. So simply this B stands for C1, and here for A, which is for C2. Okay, so the solution was the slope B is for C1 and for the slope A is for C2 because the slope B is less than the slope A. Okay, so that it is having a less than the slope A, so that the slope is having a slope A is for the capacitor C2 and slope B is for the capacitor C1. Okay student, let's solve the next question. The charge Q is moved from the point A above the dipole of moment P to the work. So here there is a dipole which is having a same but opposite charges to a point B below the dipole in an equatorial plane. Yes, this is the equatorial plane. So without acceleration it is moving from the point A to B. Okay, it is moving. Find the work done in this process. Here the work done is equal to 0 because the potential is, since the potential difference of A and B is equal to is a constant. Okay, so that the work done is equal to 0 here. Okay, let's solve the fifth question. Draw a plot showing the variation of electric field and the electric potential V with the distance r due to the charge q. So let's draw a plot. So already we have known that E is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught q by r square, but V is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught q by r, right? So let's draw the graph. So here I am taking the y-axis as electric field or electric potential. So this is a y-axis. And for x-axis I am taking the distance r. Okay students, let's draw the graph for V. So this is the graph for V. Let's draw the graph for E. So this is the graph for E. So this is for V, which is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught q by r, and for E, because it is inversely proportional to r, but here the inversely proportional to square of the r, which is 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught q by r square. Okay, so let's see the next question. Sixth question is, find equivalent capacitance between A and B in the combination given below. So this is the combination they are given. Each capacitor is of 2 microfarad. So each capacitor is 2 microfarad. So all are 2 microfarad. If the DC source, you have to find the equivalent capacitance for the circuit. Okay. So the second question was, if the DC source of 7 volt is connected across AB, how much charge is drawn from the source and what is the energy stored in the network? Okay students, let's solve this question. So we are seeing this circuit is very complicated, right? But it is not complicated. It is very, very simple. Just redraw it. C2. Okay, so this is a C2. So here the C2 is connected with the end of the C3. So here just have the C3 here, again C4. So it is C2 end is connected the end of the C4. Yes. Just redraw it, okay. I'll redraw it here. C2, C3, C4. C2, which is first terminal is connected to the first terminal of C4. Yes. Again the C2 second terminal is connected to the first terminal of C3. So that first terminal is connected to the first terminal of C3 here. Okay. So again the second terminal is connected to the second terminal of C4. Again the C3 second terminal is connected to the second terminal of C4. So that C2, C3, C4. So all the three capacitors are kept in parallel. Okay, so in this circuit they have given very complicated, but here if you resolve this, it is very simple. So that C2, C3, C4 are kept in parallel. So let's solve the equivalent capacitance for this C2, C3, C4. For this, it is a parallel. So what is a parallel formula? We have to add the individual capacitance, which is C2 plus C3 plus C4. C2 is 2 and C3 is also 2, 2 plus 2. 2 plus 2 plus 2, which is commonly taken as a microfarad. So, which is, what is the answer? 6 microfarad. So, this is the answer for the C2, C3, C4. So, what is the value for the net capacitance for entire capacitor? So, that C2, C3, C4 are in series with the C1 and C5. Okay, so that C1, C2, 3, 4 and C5. So, these capacitors are in series. So, that you have to use the formula, which is 1 by C1 plus 1 by C2, 3, 4 plus 1 by C5. Let's solve this. What is the value of C1, which is 2 microfarad? We will kept a microfarad as a constant outside. So next 1 by 6 plus 1 by 2. Let's solve this. By solving this, we will get 1 by 7 by 6 microfarad. So this is the answer for 1 by C net. So the C net is equal to 6 by 7 into 10 to the power of minus 6 farad. So this is the value of the equivalent capacitance. So let's see how much energy stored in the network. For the energy stored, we are using the formula CQ is equal to CEQB. Let's solve this. Okay, before we are going to calculate the energy stored, just first calculate the charge. You have to multiply the C equivalent into the voltage. So what is the voltage here? Which is equal to 7 volt. So it is connected to DC 7 volt DC supply. So already we have known that C equivalent is equal to, which is 6 by 7 into 10 to the power of minus 6 farad. Here note that it is not microfarad in the numerator, microfarad in the denominator. Just note it. Yes. So to find the charge stored in the capacitor, you have to multiply the equivalent capacitor, which is 6 by 7 into 10 to the power of minus 6 farad. 6 by 7 into 10 to the power of minus 6 farad into voltage, which is a 7 volt. 7 will get cancelled. So that 7 microcoulomb charge. So this much of charge is stored in the capacitors. So now let's find the energy stored in the capacitor. So E is equal to Q square by 2C. So which is the formula for energy stored in the capacitor. Okay. So this is the charge value. So which is 7 microcoulomb. 7 microcoulomb, which is a squared divided by 2. So 1 by C we have already find it, which is 7 by 6 in 6 mu F. 7 by 6 into 10 to the power of minus 6. By solving this, we will get the answer 21 microjoule. Okay, so J stands for joule, which is the unit of the energy. So this is the answer. So for net capacitance, the value is 6 by 7 into 10 to the power of minus 6 farad, and for energy stored in the network, which is equal to, so also we have find the charge which is drawn from the source, which is equal to 7 microcoulomb, and the energy was 21 microjoule. So this is the value for the energy. So by this we are winding up the session. In the next class we are going to start the new chapter. Okay guys, by this we are winding up this chapter. Let's see some practice question. First question was, figure shows two identical capacitors C1 and C2, each of 1.5 microfarad capacitance connected to a battery of 2 volt. Initially the switch is closed. After some time it is left open and dielectric slabs of dielectric constant K is equal to 2 are inserted to fill completely the space between the plates of the two capacitor. How will be the charge and potential difference between the plates and the plates of the capacitor be affected after the slabs are inserted? So after the slabs are inserted, by opening the switch, by closing the switch, okay, so initially the switch is closed. After the open, the electric slabs are inserted. Okay, so again, what is a charge and potential difference after the slabs are inserted? What will be the change in charge and potential difference? Okay, so you have to just try it. This question is very simple. Okay, so that only one small step is included. By this the question is very simple. So next question was, 2 point charges 4QQ are separated by 1 meter in the air. At what point on the line joining the charges is the electric field intensity is 0? So at what point the electric field intensity is 0? You have to find the point and also calculate the electrostatic potential energy of system of charges taking a value of Q is equal to 2 into 10 to the power of minus 7 coulomb. So you have to work out this two problems, and the third problem was, explain using suitable diagrams the difference between the behavior of the conductor and dielectric in the presence of electric field. So you have to define the terms, the polarization of dielectric, and write out its relation with the susceptibility. So this I have already taught you in the concepts, right? Is next in the B, a thin metallic sphere shell of radius R carries a charge Q on its surface. So in this question there are two questions. One is option A and option B. So first, in the first question it is a conceptual base, and second question was problematic. So in the first question I have already discussed with you. The second question was a problem, so which you have to look at this figure. So in this we have to calculate the force on the charge at the center of the shell. You have to find the force at the center of the shell, and also we have to find the electric flux through the shell. You have to find the force at the center of the shell and also at the point A. So here also you have to find the force. Just try it, and also you have to find the electric flux through the shell. The fourth question was, an electric dipole of length 1 cm which placed with the axis making an angle of 60 degree with uniform electric field experiences a torque of 6 root 3 Nm Newton meter. Calculate the potential energy of the dipole if it is as a charge plus or minus 2 nano coulomb. Okay, so just try to calculate the potential energy of the dipole, of this dipole. So in the previous class I have given a 4 questions. So in the 4 questions, the 2 questions from the concepts and the 2 questions are from the problems of previous year question paper, right? I will tell you the answer for that. So for the first question, which is a conceptual base, it can also conceptual, and the third question, so I will, the third question which is I think x is equal to 0.5 meter. You will have a distance x is equal to 0.5 meter and the energy which is minus 3 into 10 to the power of minus 5 joule. So this is the answer for that question. I hope you tried and get this answer. And the fourth question was, which is a graph. So this is a graph, so which the equipotential surfaces are placed there. along the z axis, which is a constant. Okay, so by this, how it differentiated is, so d1 is larger than the d2. Okay, so this is the answer for this questions. Okay students, by this we are wind upping this chapter. In the next class we are going to start the new chapter. Okay guys, let's see what are the topics that we have discussed today. First, initially we have dealt with the concepts of dielectrics and polarization, and then capacitor and capacitance, then parallel plate capacitor, effect of dielectric on capacitance, and combination of capacitor, which we have seen the series and parallel combination of the capacitance, right? And also the relevant formulas. And lastly we have dealt with the energy stored in the capacitor, which is a very important question in your board exams. In the next class we are going to start the new chapter, current electricity. So far in the chapter 1 and 2 we have dealt with the static charges, right? So in the next class we are going to deal about the moving charges. I hope all you enjoyed and learned the concept that we have discussed today. Okay student, it's your turn to prepare, practice and revise for your board exams. All the very best. Thank you.
For more queries, please contact Buddy on 98408 44987 or visit buddy.live.